Okay. So the fourth chapter is titled Transcendental Knowledge, wherein Krishna is giving us the knowledge about his transcendental existence, and also side by side giving us the understanding that we are also transcendent. All this knowledge already was hinted out in the second chapter, beginning, that Atma is na jayate, na mriyate, va kadachin, nitya shashvatoyam purana. Right? We being part and parcel of Krishna, we are also eternal, ever existing, always blissful. Right? So Krishna is giving us the understanding in this chapter that all of us are actually eternal. Right now we are bound up by karma because we have come to the material world forgetting Krishna, and we have to again reinstate ourselves in situation of eternal servant, as eternal service of Krishna. So for that, Krishna says, while you are in this body, we are influenced by guna karma. So based on guna karmas, we'll have different inclinations of work and our different tendencies. We have to accordingly utilize them in the proper way to see that we move forward in our spiritual journey. That's what Krishna was instructing in this chapter. And also he said, the recommendations in the scriptures is, whatever your inclination is, you can perform yajnas. Yajna means activities which can satisfy Krishna or Vishnu. The different types of yajnas were recommended for different varieties of people under different modes, right? And the very easiest and best yajna recommended for Kali Yuga is Sankirtana Yajna, chanting of the holy names of Lord Krishna, which Prabhupada has introduced to us. And if you can just follow this, you will be always on the right track of moving forward in our journey of spiritual destination. So, in order to understand what type of activities we should do in our life, how to mold our life in a way that it is moving towards the journey towards spiritual destination, a spiritual guide is essential. Krishna was mentioning that a spiritual master who is actually coming in the line of parampara, disciplic succession, right? Evam parampara praptam. So, authorized spiritual master who is actually coming in the line of parampara from Krishna himself can deliver this knowledge to us. If we can submit to him, surrender to him, and submissively inquire from him and render service to him. Right? And the knowledge given by the spiritual master is about our eternal relation with Krishna. We belong to Krishna, we are part and parcel of Krishna, and we have an identity as eternal servant of Krishna. This is the knowledge which the spiritual master will reveal to us. And this knowledge, Krishna said, is the knowledge which can take you out of this bhavasagara. Right? This knowledge is like a boat which can cross you over the samsara sagara. Right? And also this knowledge is very powerful, Krishna said. It's as powerful as a blazing fire, which can burn away all our karmas, sarva karmani vasmasat. Right? And this knowledge, Krishna says, is the mature fruit of all mysticism. Which knowledge? That I am part and parcel of Krishna. I have to act in that capacity, even in this body. That is what is going to lead me to the path of perfection. This knowledge, right? So this is the yoga samsiddha, Krishna says. And when you start adopting these principles as given by Krishna in this chapter, gradually, Krishna says, you will enjoy within the self, enjoy the self within himself, which means you will experience real happiness. About this enjoyment of the self within, further elaborations will be given in the 5th and 6th chapters. But right now, let us understand that we need not search for happiness outside. Happiness is within. Right? So happiness that I am spirit soul, happiness that I am part and parcel of Krishna, happiness that I am eternal. These are all internal happiness which we can always experience. Generally, people think happiness means it's external. It has to be with contact with external objects. That is not the case. Krishna is telling it is Ananda is antaratma. It is within ourselves. Right? So this much we have understood in this chapter. Basically, the sum and substance, what we have understood is, we as living entities in the material world, we have to follow the proper guidance from a spiritual guide, spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, so that we can mold our lives in a way that we are moving in the right direction in our spiritual journey. Right? So every activity from morning till night, what we do should be guided. We cannot do whimsical actions. Whimsical actions are actions which we want to do for our independent enjoyment, independent existence. That is the problem. All our actions should be guided. Action, it may be mental actions, verbal actions, or physical actions. Right? Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. All these things will be discussed more elaborately in the next chapter. Right now, Krishna is giving us the preparing our mind. What is the background knowledge we should have? Mind has two aspects: the background mind and the foreground mind. Background mind is the content mind, or the is like in a stage drama we're going to have. Stage will have some background settings, a village setting or some kitchen setting or something like that. So what is the background we should have? Foreground is the front of the stage where things are happening. Actually, the players act. Foreground action mind, background content mind. Right? So we are supposed to, we are acting with both of them. Whatever action we do, it depends on our background understanding. Right? So Krishna is preparing our minds with what background we should act. That's why this chapter is about knowledge, transcendental knowledge. And the next chapter is called Action in Krishna Consciousness. Right? How to act. Background mind, foreground mind. Should be synchronized properly. If you don't have proper background understanding, your actions will be all, faulty, not proper, no link. It's like if I come to your place, maybe you know me for some time because we have been having interaction in the sessions. So you'll have a background. Oh, I have come, and then you'll have one type of a interaction. Say I go to a place where I don't even know the other person. He doesn't know me. I don't know him. Then what will be the interaction? It will be like a stranger interaction. Right? Likewise. So we need to understand who we are, our identity, and who is Krishna. All that knowledge is there that has to be awakened. So spiritual masters' main duty is to give instructions, proper instructions, sufficient instructions for us to awaken Divya Jnana Hriday Prakashit. The knowledge within our hearts will be awakened when we start following the instructions of Prabhupada. That's the point. Now let's move to the next verse, verse number 39. All of you, please refer your Bhagavad Gita copies. So here Krishna is telling, Shraddhaval labhate jnanam tatparas samyatendriyaha jnanam labdva param shantim achirenadhi gacchati. So spiritual master gives you knowledge. This knowledge is very powerful. It's like a boat, powerful boat which can cross you over this samsara sagara. It will burn away all your karma, completely burn out, right? And it is going to give you the highest perfection. But you should have Shraddha. That this knowledge, what I am getting from authoritative source, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, is the perfect knowledge. This Shraddha we should have. So Krishna says, Shraddhava labate jnanam. Only when you have proper Shraddha, a faithful man, in this understanding, in this transcendental knowledge, along with Shraddha, you should also have proper regulation of your senses. Tatpara samyatendriyaha. Right? So when you have proper regulation of your senses and a faithful understanding, a faith means a strong belief that yes, this is the highest understanding. Beyond this, there is nothing. Right? Then what happens? Krishna says, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Jnatva jnanam labdva param shanti machirenadi gacchati. Which means you're going to attain the supreme destination. You're going to go back to spiritual world after this body, after you leave this body. And even in this body, you will be the most happiest person, most peaceful person. Just see what Krishna is recommending. So here, Prabhupada explains the word Shraddha is, he explains in one context how this word Shraddha, faith, is defined by the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Sudrida Nishchaya. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Haya. And this also was explained in the second chapter, in the verse 41. 2.41, Prabhupada explained this. Right? Faith means unflinching trust on something sublime. There's a separate chapter on faith, divisions of faith, 17th chapter. Right? Everything we do is based on faith. So Prabhupada says we should not have blind faith. Our faith should be with knowledge. Very important. There is a difference between blind faith and faith with factual knowledge, transcendental knowledge. Right now, our faith, mostly people have different types of faiths under different modes of nature. So Krishna in that chapter, 17th chapter, explains how people under different modes, sattva guna, rajoguna, tamoguna, mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, they have different types of worship, different types of eating habits, different types of yajnas they do, different types of charities they do, dana, different types of tapasyas they do. Because when you're under the three modes, everything becomes colored. Whereas the faith, real faith, Prabhupada explains, Krishna explains, the faith that Krishna is the ultimate personality whom we are to serve. This faith, this strong faith, as Prabhupada explains, faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kahe Sudrida Nishchaya. Vishwasa means strong belief, determined understanding that just performing Krishna Bhakti, if you do, then everything is done. All activities are taken care of. Sometimes people say, along with chanting Hare Krishna, I should also do some other worship of, other devatas, some other rituals. Our astrologer has told me to do this, tarpana in the morning, pour some water in front of sun, or do some pradakshina of some other things, and go to some, go do some dana, that this. So all this is because you don't have strong faith on Krishna's words. You have strong faith in Krishna's words, just whatever Krishna is telling, that much if you do is done, everything is done. How can we achieve this strong faith? When you associate with people having strong faith. Right? Prabhupada is that personality whose faith is like rock solid. When you hear from him, when you read his books, you will get that faith is, actually is transferred to us. Because our faith is right now Komala Shraddha. It's very tender faith. Little faith you have, but not very strong faith. So that faith has to be like Prabhupada, pure devotee. So, recommendation given in scriptures is, when you associate with pure devotees, when you hear about their activities, their devotion to Krishna, our faith in Krishna consciousness increases. When you hear about Dhruva Maharaj's pastime, his determination to serve Krishna, wow, how strongly he was determined to see Krishna, wanted to have darshan of Krishna, your faith in Krishna increases. Like this, the pastimes mentioned in the Bhagavata, with the scriptures, when you hear, that's why it is said, submissively hear. Submissively hear means you're just trying to hear to associate, not with any other ulterior intention, no other motive. That is called submissive hearing. So, so this is what Prabhupada is explaining here. When you have a strong faith that simply by acting in Krishna consciousness, I get the highest perfection, that is what Krishna is explaining here. This will take you to the topmost perfection. And this faith, Prabhupada says, can be attained when you engage yourself in devotional service or activities as prescribed by Prabhupada to us. What does Prabhupada say? Every day chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, fixed number of times. Prabhupada's recommendation is to chant 16 rounds every day. Says 16 is minimum. Right? So come to that level. And every day, Prabhupada says, read my books without fail. And follow the regulative principles. Regulative principles of no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. These three things Prabhupada stresses again and again and again, repeatedly in all his instructions. Follow the principles strictly, read my books, chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna. Then success is guaranteed, Prabhupada says. So, chanting Hare Krishna mantra is the most important regulation which Prabhupada says has to be done. The primary duty of every sadhaka, anybody who wants to develop faith in Krishna, this is the first step. Right? Prabhupada mentions in the purport. Chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What it will do? It will actually start cleaning your heart. It will make your faith strong. Cleansing the heart means right now our heart is having so many other types of diversified faiths. It will make you fixed up in Krishna. Right? So, chanting Hare Krishna and the 4 regulations will help you to control your senses automatically. Reading books will create the proper background for us. Right? So this is what the recommendation given to us. Prabhupada says, when you do this, you will attain perfection without delay. This is an important point Prabhupada makes here. Achirena adi gacchati. Achirena. Chirena means long. It's like we give blessings to younger people. Chiranjeevi Bhava. Chiranjeevi means long live. Achirena means quickly. Quickly you will achieve results when you follow the instructions. Actually, when Krishna says you control your senses, means you just adopt or subject yourself to the instructions given by Prabhupada. Chant Hare Krishna, follow regulations, reading. This if you do with faith. Faith is a feeling. Right? Faith is a feeling. It's not that, you have to separately manufacture something. No. It's like all of us are attending this satsang session. We have that background faith. Yes, by participating in this satsang session, I will benefit in my spiritual journey. This faith is there. Right? So this faith has to be day by day increased, enhanced. That's what Krishna is saying to tell us here. Okay. So whatever understanding Prabhupada has given, it should be done with faith. It is the first basic aspect in any activity. Prabhupada gives a very nice example. You have purchased a flight ticket from Delhi to Bangalore. Just a piece of paper, or nowadays is only electronic some message. How do you ensure that it is going to take you to that place? Faith. Faith in the system. Faith in the whole mechanism. One more simple example Prabhupada gives. You go to a barber, he's having his razor. He's shaving you, and one, he can also cut your throat. Right? What happens? Finished. But you're having faith, you will not cut my throat. Right? See? So Prabhupada says like this, in every step of your life, you are supposed to, you work with faith. You deposit money in your bank with faith that money will come back with interest. What if the bank doesn't give you money at all? After some time it will say, I don't know, you don't have any account here. Then, or you will think, what is this? All my hard work of so many years, I've made some saving. Bank is telling, I don't know. Actually, if you see, every one of us are all going on with faith in so many of our dealings and activities. So Prabhupada says, this is something very basic in our dealings. We have faith on so many aspects. So have this faith transferred to Krishna, who is giving us assurance, who is giving us guarantee. What guarantee is telling? Giving Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evaishyasi satyam te atmanam matparayana. This is the guarantee Krishna is giving. Always engage your mind in me, thinking of me. You become my devotee, you worship me, you offer your obeisances to me. Like this, if you are absorbed in me always, surely you will come to me. Right? Mam evaishyasi yuktva. Just see, this much guarantee is giving. Krishna is giving. Why don't you have faith in this? Prabhupada says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masucha. Krishna is proclaiming, declaring, just surrender to me. I will relieve you from all sins. This faith you should have. So this development of faith will happen, as I told you, by hearing from pure devotees. Pure devotees, words have this power, strength, spiritual strength to infuse faith in us. That's what happened when Prabhupada went to the Western countries. People with no faith, zero faith, they were all infused with Krishna faith. Why? Because pure devotees are fully imbued with Krishna consciousness so much that they can transform people and give them this faith in Krishna. Right? That is the point. So, somehow, if you can associate with pure devotees and always keep in touch with them by following their instructions. Very nicely, I heard something today from Prabhupada's in one of the lectures. Prabhupada says, when you simply follow what acharyas are telling us, pure devotees telling us, we are associating with them. Right? Simply reading, for that matter. Prabhupada says simply reading. Simply reading them, you are associating. And if you follow what they are telling, you are actually serving them. One of the acharyas, Narottam Das Thakur, says, Tadera charana sevi bhakta sane vas, janame janame ho e abhilash. My life after life, my only desire should be how to serve the lotus feet of pure devotees. That is my perfection. Which means, first of all, reading what Prabhupada has given us in the form of books or hearing is associating. When associate, the faith develops more and more. And when you start following, that is the service we're going to do. Just see. And this is going to give you quickly give you the results of highest perfection. Achirenadi gacchati param shantim. Next verse number 40. Krishna is giving us the opposite. If you follow with faith, controlling your senses as per the instructions given by Guru Sadhu Shastra, very soon you will be raised to the highest perfection of understanding, and you will reach the topmost perfection of spiritual destination. On the contrary, if you don't follow, Agnyas chashraddha dhanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam lokosti na paro na sukham samshayatmanaha. This verse is called Samshayatma verse. Samshaya. There are people who are doubtful. So Samshayatma, always doubting. It will happen or not. If it happens, how it happens. Even if it happens, what may happen? Go on doubting. In English, there's a statement called analysis paralysis. Go on analyzing. You become so paralytic, you'll not even do anything. It's a nice story Prabhupada gives. Says, once, one elderly woman with a son in a village, she's come to a place where there's going to be a big jatra, fair. So this mother is worried. Oh, my son, so many people will come. So many people will be, coming to participate in this yatra. Who will make the arrangement for their staying, toilet facility, food facility? Oh, so many things. What to do? How it will happen? Right? Then yatra, this whole fair happened and everything. That day evening, everything wound up again. Everybody went away. Early morning is thinking like that. So son should, mother, everything went on very well and everybody went away. So the point here is, this analysis paralysis will happen when you start thinking, I am the doer. Because of me, everything is happening. Prabhupada says, there were prime ministers in our country. Even now, prime ministers think like that. Without me, country will not run. If I should be in power always, as though they're going to live for 3,000 years. Right? This is what they think. Everybody thinks. Anybody in the house also thinks like that, no? If I am not there, how will the house run? I remember, when I was in Bangalore, when I used to go to Savini Road. There, a very elderly gentleman is sitting in his shop. He must be at least 70 plus. His son is, 50 years. And he's still sitting in that the seat where you get the cash, no? He's sitting there. Son is every time, father, this transaction, take money, give change. Everything is like this, I happen to meet I thought, what is father will do, I'll meet the son. So son was telling, no, my father only is the boss. Whatever he says only will happen. So I was just thinking, 70, 75 years, even though he wants to control. He thinks, without me, nothing will happen. Everything will go here and there. Right? Dhritarashtra was thinking like this. Oh, my sons have died, but without me, how will the kingdom run? That is Dhritarashtra's mind. So the Samshaya Atma are like that. That's why the very Bhagavad Gita, you see, beginning, Dhritarashtra Samshaya starts. Dharma kshetre, kurukshetre, samaveta, yutsava, mamaka, pandavaschaiva, kshimakruta, sanjaya, samshaya. What samshaya? My sons of Pandu are all assembled. What happened, Arjuna? Say Sanjaya. Whether they fought or they went into a compromise, what happened? This was a samshaya. So for his one question, whole Gita was spoken. Right? Just see. One doubt will create so much of problem. So like this, you see anything, a doubt, the seed of doubt comes, everything will be spoiled. Relation, some doubt is there. Maybe he's cheating me. Right? Or business transaction. Maybe other person is cheating me. So doubt is there means finish. Right? Trust is there, faith is there, then things will move forward. So here Krishna says, Agnya. Agnya means fool, who have no knowledge. In scriptures, ignorant. And Ashraddha Dhana. Two types of people. One is foolish, ignorant. Next is faithless people who doubt the revealed scriptures. Do not attain God consciousness. For the doubting soul, Samshayatma, there is no happiness in this world or in the next. Nor in the next. Samshayatma is always unhappy. No happiness. Always in anxiety. Oh, what will happen? What may happen? Sometimes people are so doubtful. This water you are giving me, it is all pure, no? Nothing, nobody has touched it, no? This food you are giving me, all have touched this. How it has been prepared, where vegetables have come from, vegetables where it was grown, maybe it's not in the gutter, no? If you have so many doubts like this, what you will do? You cannot even have peaceful food. If you start thinking, no, while coming, one dog licked it. Finish. Your whole food, what you want to take will be, the consciousness will be like, really? Or, in the hotel you are going and they served. No, sir, while coming, one cockroach went inside and freaked out. Then you have that food, cockroach food, you'll start vomiting. So like this, the Samshaya Atmas have no happiness in this world or the next. Very nicely Prabhupada explains. Bhagavad Gita is the standard, authoritative, authentic scripture. But there are people who are almost like animals, have no faith in this scripture also. Bhagavad Gita, I don't believe. First category. Second category is, they have read Bhagavad Gita, they can even, Prabhupada says, they can quote every verse very nicely, but they don't believe in those words of Krishna. Just like Prabhupada used to quote, there were many big politicians in India. They knew Bhagavad Gita thoroughly. But they used to say, there is no such person as Krishna. It's all imaginary. Or whatever is spoken, it is not, facts. This, some understanding given about this world. Like this. No faith. One is totally, no knowledge of what is there in scriptures, Bhagavad Gita. Second is, but don't have faith in the words of Krishna. Thirdly, they know they have faith, but they don't worship Krishna. Just see what categories of people are there. So all of them come under this Agnya Ashraddhadhan. Ignorant and faithless, who doubt the revealed scriptures. They think something else is better than this. So they doubt the very Bhagavad Gita's authenticity. So Prabhupada says such persons are being described here as people who are doubtful souls, samshaya atma. So these doubtful souls, Krishna says, they are going to vinashyati. They will not get any perfection. Vinasha means you are supposed to use this human form of life to go back to spiritual world. But this is not achieved through this human form of life. What is the use? You lost the opportunity, right? So, this is what Krishna is telling here, that these people will lose the wonderful opportunity in the human form of life to utilize it in a proper way to go back to spiritual world. They'll be again going on repeatedly rotating in the same material world in different life forms. So, Krishna says, Krishna gives solutions, rather, Prabhupada gives solutions. How we can rectify these problems? So, first thing is, we should have faith in this scriptural understanding. The whole 16th chapter is based on this. Demons, asuras, and devatas. Asuras means no faith in scriptures. Or for them, scriptures doesn't even exist. Whatever they make, whatever they do, everything is correct. Right? So, first of all, have faith. Then you'll rise to the platform of knowledge. And when you come to this proper knowledge, then only you'll move forward in your spiritual understanding. Right? Prabhupada says, so this can happen. Prabhupada again stresses on the point, when you follow the footsteps of acharyas. Mahajano yena gatassa pantha. Tat karma pravartanat. Rupa Goswami says. Mahabharata says, you have to follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas. Means, unless you have a faithful following of the authorities, it is not possible. One important point Krishna is stressing again and again in this chapter. What? Having faith in the authorities. Standard authorities. Right? Krishna is the supreme authority, and his sincere followers, spiritual masters, tattva darshinaha, are his representatives. Have faith in them. Right? Repeatedly he is telling this. Having faith in them is as good as having faith in Krishna. Right? There's a nice statement in Bhagavata. It's mentioned. Acharya mam vijaniyam navamanyeta karhichit. Acharya, Prabhupada, Krishna says, is me only, my representative only. Should never disrespect him. I am sitting inside as Paramatma, but same Paramatma is manifesting as Acharya externally. This is what Krishna is telling in Bhagavad. Right? And Uddhava, the cousin brother of Krishna, after hearing all the instructions, just like we have Bhagavad Gita, there is an Uddhava Gita in Bhagavata. So many other Gitas are there in Bhagavata. One of them is called Uddhava Gita. Many instructions Krishna gives to Uddhava before he goes back to spiritual world. So Uddhava, after hearing everything, he says, Krishna, you sitting as Paramatma, internally as Chaitya Guru, externally as spiritual master, the type of enormous help you are giving to the living entities to relieve them from the cycle of birth and death is so wonderful that we cannot pay you back for this so much, compassionate action you're doing, even in the entire life of Brahma. Brahma's life is very big. Prabhupada says it is 311 trillion years. Very huge. That many years also, if you stay, you cannot pay back. That's why the gurus, we are indebted to Guru life after life. Janme Janme Prabhu say. So Guru's business is just to give us this knowledge, transcendental knowledge. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave. So developing faith is so important. Krishna is again, even Krishna says positive and negative, it is to make us understand how serious it is to be positive always. Value the positive, being Shraddhavan is so important. Right? Next verse. Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam Jnana Sanchinna Samshayam Atmavantam na Karmani Nibadhanti Dhananjaya. Krishna is sort of concluding this all the instructions what he has given. He's telling, therefore, one who has renounced the fruits of his actions, Yoga Sanyasta Karmana, whose doubts are destroyed by transcendental knowledge, Jnana Sanchinna Samshayam, and who is situated firmly in the self, Atmavantam na Karmani, is not bound by works. So basically, the whole instruction what Krishna is giving us is, in this chapter, this conclusion here, that when you are properly situated in this understanding of what Krishna's instructions are there in this chapter, in a proper way, and what you will do, you will not be attached to the results of the actions you do. Right? Sanyasta Karmanam. This is the whole Bhagavad Gita's important messages. Sarva Karma Phalatyagam. You give up the results of all the actions what you want to do to Krishna. Right? That is what the whole message of Bhagavad Gita is. Because we are attached to the results, fruits of activities. Right? So, by situating in this understanding, what happens? You will act in a way that you are not attached to the results of actions, fruits of actions. And because of which your doubts in your mind, what to do, what not to do, is all clear. Only for Krishna, that's all, nothing else. No other action should be done. This is only for Krishna. Right? In this way, you become firmly fixed up in your spiritual understanding. Atmavantam na karma. Na karmani nibadhanti. Then whatever you do is only for Krishna. So anything you do, it's only not going to bind you. Any other action if you do, other than this understanding, it will bind you. That's what Krishna is telling us. So, very nicely Krishna is concluding that this is what we are supposed to be doing in our other. This is the background understanding we should have in every action. This whole Bhagavad Gita's 4th chapter is the background knowledge which you should have in your every action. Okay. Then you will be free from all reactions. Karmani nibadhanti. Nibadhanti karmani. That is the purpose. That is the purpose of whatever we do. Akarma. Akarma means no reaction. If you are bound with every action, then you will be again entangled. You will be come out of this all reactions. So nicely Krishna is concluding. And there's a 42nd verse, the last verse of this chapter. Krishna is instructing to Arjuna specifically. Therefore, tasmad ajnana sambhutam Prithstam jnanasinatmanaha chitvainam samshayam yogam atishtottishta bharata. So he's telling, Tasma, therefore, Arjuna, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance. So many doubts. Arjuna, what doubts he had? We discussed this in the 2nd chapter, 1st chapter also. He had doubts that no, these people are all my own people. How can we kill them? How can we kill them? And he was doubting whether this fighting is such a, what did he say in 3rd chapter beginning? He said, it's a ghastly action, Krishna. One side you're telling to perform Buddhi Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, one other side you're telling me to perform this very ghastly action of fighting and killing. So many doubts he had. Right? So Krishna is telling, whatever doubts has come out of you is because of your ignorance. Ajnana sambhutam. When there is ajnana or ignorance, lot of doubts come. Prabhupada gives personal example. When he first landed in America, landing means not in the ship, from the flight, the ship. After he landed, he came on the ground. he was sponsored for he was given sponsorship for a month by one of his friends from Agra. His son was in Butler, Pennsylvania. So he had arranged that Gopal Agarwal had arranged one agent to pick up Prabhupada from where the ship is going to land. From there, he arranged that Prabhupada will come in a bus to his place from New York to Butler, Pennsylvania. It is around 8 hours journey in the bus. So Prabhupada says, no, I was in a doubt. Where is the bus? How to go? Where to get into the bus? Now all these things, so many doubts were because I was ignorant. Right? So when you are ignorant, ajnana sambhutam will create samshayam. Right? So when you don't have ajnana, when you are fully clear, no samshaya, very clear, where I have to go, how I have to go, no. So that's why Krishna is telling, these doubts have arisen in your heart, Arjuna, out of ignorance, should be slashed with the weapon of knowledge. Very nice words Krishna is using. Tritstam jnanasinatmanaha. These doubts that have come out in your heart should be slashed by weapon of knowledge. Jnana asi atmana. See, just in this chapter only Krishna has used the analogies for knowledge as a boat, as a blazing fire, as a weapon, as a sword. There's one book written by Prabhupada, Sword of Knowledge. Okay, very nice book. So this weapon of knowledge should be means all our ignorance should be cut by this proper understanding. That's what Krishna is telling. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. So nice words. Which means when you have proper understanding of what is what are the facts, then you will not be in doubts. So this understanding always keep in your mind, get up and fight. For Arjuna. For us, yes, have this knowledge properly in your mind, proper background, then you also act in a proper way in the material world. As whatever duties you have to do it with armed with this understanding. Always equipped with this understanding. Very nice understanding, very nice knowledge. So Prabhupada very nicely explains that the yoga system which Krishna explained in this chapter is called Sanatana Yoga. Sanatana Yoga means the eternal activity which the soul has to perform. Right now, soul is engaged in the body, and all the activities which we are doing in the body is all conditioned. They are not eternal. Eternal meaning the permanent activities which we are supposed to be doing, which the Atma does. But here what Atma is doing is all changing. Every moment changing and not constant. Right? What we did in childhood will not do now. Or maybe what we did in last life will not do now. It's changing. The nature of the activities are changing constantly. It's what conditioned life means. Whereas eternal life means it is all activities centered around Krishna. Right? So this is what this whole chapter is describing. And Prabhupada says, this yoga, Sanatana Yoga, has two divisions. Two divisions of sacrificial actions, Prabhupada says. Very nice words Prabhupada uses. One is called sacrifice of one's material possessions. Another is called knowledge of the self, which is pure spiritual activity. Right? So, about sacrifices, Krishna has mentioned yajna in this chapter elaborately. Different types of yajna. Right? Dravya Yajna, Yoga Yajna, Tapo Yajna, right? Different Devata Yajna. Based on different modes of nature, different yajnas can be performed. So, what conclusion was what? Sacrifices are aimed at satisfying Krishna, that will awaken real knowledge to you. The objective is devotion to Krishna, that is the proper action. Otherwise, it's only going to give result to whatever level of faith you have. Right? So, this is one aspect. And secondly, when you come to the knowledge of the self, what you are actually, what is your real identity, is what Krishna is started explaining now. More revelation will happen as we proceed in this Bhagavad Gita's chapters. But here, at least introduction has been given, sort of a what is our identity. This subject matter has been started off, right? So the introduction is what? That we are part and parcel of Krishna. Actually, verse number 35 of this chapter gives a wonderful hint. Krishna says that you are all belonging to me, you are all mine. Right? An important identity of ours is being given by Krishna. That all the living entities, all the spirit souls, all of them are part and parcel of mine. They are all belonging to me. We all have eternal bearing or identification with Krishna. Right? So these understandings or this knowledge which Krishna is giving, Prabhupada says, should be taken with faith. That we are all fragmental part and parcel of Krishna. If we don't take this knowledge with faith, then as just now we discussed, you'll be samshayatma, doubtful soul, neither happy in this world nor in the next. You'll going on, going on in this material world, taking repeated births and deaths. So this ignorance should be taken away by surrendering to a bona fide spiritual master, Prabhupada, and accepting the principles given by Prabhupada and following them. Very important. Right? When you start following, what happens? Divya Jnana Hriday Prakashita. The knowledge will be awakened. The true knowledge will be awakened. Otherwise, you'll always be in ignorance. This is the whole, in essence, which Prabhupada is telling us here, that acceptance of a bona fide spiritual master and following his instructions. Krishna is giving example of sun god, how this happened, and later on he tells Arjuna also that you also should follow similarly, right? So the Bhagavad Gita's knowledge should be accepted like this, without any personal motivations, without any personal, as Prabhupada uses, personal aggrandizement, for our own selfish glorifications. No, it's only meant for the pure path of coming out of this cycle of birth and death and going back to spiritual world, right? So the Lord, whole purpose is to just deliver us from whatever situation we are in. So from the very beginning of the study of this whole Bhagavad Gita's understandings, this is what Krishna is trying to tell us. He wants to deliver us. He wants to see that we all take advantage of this wonderful understanding which Krishna is giving us. Okay, so this ends the chapter 4, wherein Krishna is so nicely explaining us, arm yourself with the weapon of knowledge. See, so nice words. Jnanasinatmana. Asi means the sword, the weapon. Right? If you have weapon of knowledge, it will cut off or slash away the ignorance. No weapon means you'll always be in ignorance means tension. Ignorance means always restless, and it is always going to create a lot of problems. That's the point. Okay, so we'll conclude here. If anybody has anything to ask, discuss, any comments?
Prabhuji, I have a small question, Prabhuji.
Please.
Yeah. Prabhuji, Sankshaya Atma and Suchi is both are function. Like I am giving an example that if I want to improve on Suchi, you understand, Prabhuji, that you have told me the Suchi.
Yeah,
the Suchi should be there.
Cleanliness.
Yeah. So, like when I'm buying a fruits for my Gopalji, that time who is selling, I check that whether he means his hands are clean or not. He is eating something, and with the same hand, he will give the fruits to me for fruits or flowers. Rightly, she has told. So that time I said that you just wash your hands. He will say that no, my hands are clean. But I perceive because that time my Sanshaya Atma is working. So it is good or bad, Prabhuji. It is because of the Lord only my Sanshaya Atma is working. So it is also required. I feel so. You tell me in that. You can explain to me. This is a live example I am just told in this case.
So I was giving you different examples just to make you understand how Sanshayatma practically feeling, yes, you should have the right spirit of that Sanshayatma you should have with regard to practical affairs. Okay, so Sanshayatma, yes, definitely. We should always ensure that anybody whom you're taking service, they should be to your expectation at least. Right? If he's a person who is just cheating you, then definitely he cannot be. You cannot take service from him. You should reject him and take somebody else service who can deliver things to you. This is all from practical point of view, practical affairs or day-to-day routine affairs. Right? That is a common sense dealing which you're talking about. What I was trying to tell you is Samshaya Atma here Krishna is referring to the person who is having doubt in Krishna's words, right? See, even in common affairs also to some level, okay, we have judged a person or rather we have analyzed or rather we have assessed a person to some extent and we're trying to take him service, but some aspects of in the service being given, there is some problems or some anomalies. You try to take corrective actions, right? By advising him, counseling that person, or whatever way you told. Yes, you wash your hands. Or see, in practical affairs, yes, something which is obviously because everybody is not following anything and they are not trained in one sense. Right? So the examples what I was giving is, say you go to a restaurant, you have entered a restaurant in a way that this restaurant, your assumption or your understanding is, oh, it's a very standard restaurant with all facilities. They must have taken the necessary licenses from the government to follow all the hygiene principles. That is your assumption, right? Generally, when you go to a restaurant, they are supposed to operate a restaurant or a food outlets with all the proper licenses from the government. But you have found out, or rather, when you go there and you're pretty sure it is a good restaurant and they must be following. My example was to tell you, even in that restaurant, you start doubting. Oh, maybe the food what this waiter is bringing, some cockroach would have entered, or he's touched the food. You start doubting that way. That is not a proper action from our side with regard to when you before entering, you should have ensured with whatever way possible from your side. That's what I mean to say. So with regard to common sense activities of, say, you are purchasing a fruit and you are seeing that obviously the person who is selling the fruit is doing some other activity which is going to contaminate the purity of that item what you are purchasing, is you have all the rights because you are paying the money to him. And if he's not listening,
his mouth is moving, but he's saying, no, my hands are clean.
Then you have the choice. He's not the only vendor. You go to some other vendor who can really give you the fruit. So what I want to tell you is, we should use our common sense with regard to our practical affairs. And once you have decided that something I want to go with this, some level of faith you should have. Right? If you go on doubting about that particular, dealing which you are going to get into, at one point you decided this, I'll go with this. Fine. After due diligence. After that, if you start further doubting, okay, you have all the discussions openly and nicely with concern that all your doubts are cleared. But after a certain extent, things have to move forward. That's what I mean to say. So, with common routine activities, something which is very practical, we need to be using our common sense and take a call. And with some actions like I mentioned, entering into a restaurant or entering into some contract with somebody or etc. etc. For example, okay, you have to engage some maid in your house for work. Before taking that person inside, you have to do your due diligence with regard to the background, the different behavioral aspects, etc. etc. Then only you enter. Okay, in between, while functioning, or rather while the activity starts, there may be some discrepancies, but corrective action can be taken. Even otherwise, you feel there is not working out, then you have all the freedom to terminate. Right? This should be spoken before you engage anybody. So basically, what I want to say is, with regard to spiritual knowledge, spiritual understanding, spiritual activities, Krishna is giving us the understanding that yes, we need to have faith in Krishna's words. Krishna's words means Prabhupada's instructions, Prabhupada's various other directions which Prabhupada has given. Have faith. Not that, oh, Prabhupada has told, but I don't believe, I'll do whatever I want. That is called samshaya, which means you don't have faith in words of authorities, instructions of authority. That's what the spirit of my telling was, my explaining was. Now you don't have faith in when Prabhupada says you have to chant Hare Krishna mantra fixed number of times, should be accepted without any doubt, without any second thought. Any further doubt you have, you please discuss, you debate, you bring out your logic, your reasoning, why it should not be done. Right? That's why in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it said that you use all your logic, reasoning, everything you want to for understanding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu philosophy, Krishna's philosophy. Right? Then you will see that it is really very convincing. That's the point. Without even properly analyzing, understanding, and you simply go on doubting, that is wrong. That's what it is. Krishna is telling that don't simply unnecessarily bring some other illogical aspects in regard to Krishna's understanding. Anything is there, you debate, discuss. But don't outrightly say, oh, I don't believe in this. No, it is half only I can believe. Ardha Kukkuti Nyaya. There was a hen just giving golden eggs. So the farmer thought this front portion of the hen is very expensive because I have to feed every day. So better I cut off the head. Only back portion is good enough. So like this, if you think Bhagavad Gita, this portion is not good, this is good only for it. Then that is Prabhupada says that is nonsense. Not tuition. That is called again Ashraddha. That's what Prabhupada was telling. No, different types of people. One is totally faithless. Second is I know, but I don't believe in Krishna's words. Third is I know I believe in Krishna's words, but I don't accept Krishna as supreme. It's all different permutation, combination of same thing that I am what I am.
So thank you, Prabhuji. So I can conclude that Samshaya Atma has some periphery. So we can gaze that word on that periphery only. Not universally, Samshaya will be there.
Two things are there, Ranjanji. One is, Prabhupada always explains this. One is conditional activity, one more is constitutional activity. You understand this very important point. Conditional means or material dealings. Or material dealings should be with common sense. Definitely, even anybody who doesn't even know Bhagavad Gita will understand. If you have somebody who is totally unclean, why you want to purchase something from there? Unhygienic. Common sense, no? Whereas constitutional, spiritual activities should be in line with what authorities wants, what Krishna wants, what Prabhupada wants, what Acharyas wants. That's what we're trying to discuss. right? Even from the material point of view, material activities have their own standards. Government has its own ways of check and balance for everything, right? So that way, things have to be in line with that. And with our common sense, because we are trying to serve Krishna also with the resources what we want to take, we should be even more, extra careful. That's what I want to say. Yes, definitely our activity should be such that we do the best for Krishna. In that context, whatever required, we should do. That is not coming under, oh, how can I doubt him? Anyway, anything you take. No, that is again, Prabhupada says, do business like. Right?
Yeah.
When you want to do business, make
Correct.
business like. Don't do business, oh, no, whatever you do is okay, I am okay. No, that is not the way. You want to do business like. Right? That's what it means. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Any other question or any other discussion? Or shall we close now?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Fine. We'll close now. Hare Krishna. Thank you.